All right. So now we're back to learning GDScript from zero, and this is an open source project by GDQuest.com. All right, so we're going to continue where we left off over here at our function, our first function parameter. There we go. One thing, this is from a creator's point of view, a content creator's point of view. You know, I can leave the comments out and people are going to hate it. I could leave the commentary out and people are going to hate it. Certain people are going to hate it. And if I could keep it in, and certain other people are going to hate it. Okay. So no matter what I do or what you do, haters are going to hate. They will be different haters depending on what you do. And if you displease a hater, a group of haters that hates a group of things because you naturally do those things, well, you're just going to have a group of haters. And that's just how it is in life. Best thing to do, recognize the haters, and then, I don't know, do something else. I think recognizing it is the first thing. All right, so let's go. In the previous part, we created a function to draw a square of a fixed size. This function is a bit limiting. Instead, it would be much better if we had a function to draw a square of any size. Or better yet, any kind of rectangle. A square is a specific kind of rectangle. Sort of. In previous lessons, I mean, we've all been to school. We know what's going on here. In previous lessons, we used the rotate function and gave it an argument, right? We've got rotate 0.5 radians. Okay, so just like rotate, we can give our function parameters. Parameters are labels we give to values passed to the function. True. Let's look at this. Can I rotate in both directions? A little off topic, but let's find out. The radian can be can be a positive or negative number, which allows us to rotate both clockwise and counterclockwise. True. I believe it. We even saw it. We even did it. We even had to rotate it back this many radians when it was backwards radians, right? Yeah. So yeah, we're cool. Thanks for reinforcing that knowledge in our head. For now, we're going to focus on the first line, func rotate radians. Where? What? What? Anyway, what? Anyway, func rotate radians. Okay, so that would be the first line of the declaration of the rotate function. All right. So when we call rotate 0.5, the computer binds the value 0.5 to the label radians. Yes. Oh, we're talking about parameters. Yeah. Radians is the parameter here. Wherever the computer sees the identifier radians inside the function, it replaces it with the 0.5 value. True. Also, there's a thing called local scope and global scope, and I'm going to tell you about it right now if you don't know. If you do know, time to fast forward. But as far as this goes, there could actually be a function called radians in the same program if somebody wanted to do something like that. And that radians, if this radians is called here, and inside a rotate we refer to radians, it's going to refer to this radians right here because this is the local scope. And just like the city cop has a lot more power over you than the president of the United States in reality, it's the same thing here. So when we call rotate from the computer, whenever the parameter, okay. So the parameter name is always a label we use to refer to a value. The value in question can be a number, text, or anything else. True. For now, we're going to stick to numbers as we have yet to see other value types like text or anything else. That's what they're talking about. I mean, we all know what they are if we've been following along. So what is a function parameter? A label we give to a value the function receives. Yes. The name of a function? No. A number we use to make calculations? Also no. Submit it. There we go. So we're right. A parameter is a label that represents a value. The value in question can change. It depends on what we put in parentheses when calling a function. So how to create functions with parameters. We can give our function parameters when writing its definition, the line starting with the func keyword. Yeah, just like here. Here, right there. All right. To do so, we add a name inside of the parentheses. So we have func draw square length, just like up here we had func rotate radians. Okay. So we can give parameters any name. True. How we name functions and parameters is up to us. True also. Just remember that names cannot contain spaces. To write parameter names with multiple words, we need to use underscores. True. We're using snake case here. And when you see codeman S, coding with codeman S or whatever, like you saw at the beginning of the video, that's camel case. Anyway, why do we keep repeating ourselves? The following function defines the following function definition is exactly equivalent to the previous one. Func draw square side length. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just that now it's side length instead of length. And sometimes we need to do that because if it's I don't know what other length would you have though. But anyway, side length 2, I don't know. Anyway, so let's keep going. Parameters make our code easier to reuse. Here's an example with a function to draw any square. We can use the slider to change the value passed to the function and draw squares of different sizes. True. Let's see about it though. All right, so we got func draw squares size. All right, move forward size. So this is variable. We can make it any size we want, any of those, or a million, or negative. I don't know if we can do negative. Would it go backwards? Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. Right now we're not dealing with that. So we would move forward size, turn right, and then we'll turn right 90 degrees. So we'll go this way, down, over, up, and there we go. You know what I meant. Turn right that, and you can read it. All right. And so when we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. All right. Which is the correct syntax for a function definition? This one, no doubt. Function name, parentheses, parameter name, colon. And this one doesn't have a colon, and this one does have a colon. Oh, it's going to be this one because we got to use the func. I'm glad we went through all of them. Func function name, parameter name. Also not this one, there's no colon. Submit it. There we go. Pardon me. So we're right. To define a function, we need to start with the func keyword followed by a space, the function name, and optional parameters inside parentheses. I wonder if that's a mistake or if that's just what happens when you define it over here, red, you know? Did they like copy paste? I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? We must end the line with a colon, which defines a new code block. We'll see moving forward that keywords other than func require a colon at the end of the line. I wonder if they did it with, you know, what if they did this with regular expression and they didn't do the regular expression right? They didn't say it has to have a space after it, after func. No, because then this one would, oh, whatever. All right, it doesn't matter. It was on purpose, let's just say. Functions can have multiple parameters. We can use multiple parameters in a function. In fact, we can use as many as we need. To separate the function parameters, maybe they did regex, but they started from here. They started the search from here. I don't see any other functions. That's got to be it. It's got to be something, because that's so random. That's just so random, especially when functions right here, they could have done it right there and made the same point. I bet it has to be they started a regex from after it. Or what else? What else could it be? Leave a comment in the description. Or a comment on the video, whatever. All right, functions can have multiple parameters. We can use multiple parameters in a function. In fact, we can use as many as we need. To separate the function parameters, we need to write a comma between them. All right. So yeah, we got the space in between the name. We got parameter 1, comma, and we don't really need the space there, but we're going to use it for readability. And then we got another comma after parameter 2, and it goes on for as many parameters as you want. But At some point, if you're making more than like 2 or 3 parameters, at some point you got to say, can I make other functions that deal with all these parameters? You know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes, you know, if it gets a little too messy, you know, let's clean it up a little bit. We can use logic to clean. That's the thing about all this, is you can use logic to clean up messy code real nicely. Must I write spaces between function parameters? In a function definition, we must have a space between the func keyword and the function name. However, because we use the comma to separate parameters, it doesn't matter if we use spaces between parameters. True. As long as we have the comma, either syntax is correct. So we often use spaces after the comma for readability. Okay. Pardon me. The following example defines a function that uses 2 parameters to move an entity on both the X and Y axes. True. Yeah, this looks straight up like some something you'd see in like AutoCAD, like computer-aided design for like you know, like those CAD lathes and CNC lathes, CNC lathes and CNC the mills. Yeah, this is the stuff that it looks like. And that's cool. I'm glad we're looking at, because remember, like, we can go and do anything once we know programming, even AutoCAD, anything. Honestly, we can do once we know programming. Like, it's such a huge field. How should, not anything, but you know, within reason, within the parameters. How should we name our functions and parameters? The names of functions, parameters, and other things in our code are entirely up to us. They're written by we, the programmers, for other programmers. We want to use the names that make the most sense to us and others. True. We can absolutely write single letter names like in math classes, A, B, F, whatever. We can also write abbreviated names like pause for position and BG for background and so on. That's what they used to do back in the day a lot. Both of this. Many programmers do either or both of the above. True. Either or both of the above. True. At GDQuest, they favor complete and explicit names. Also, I do too. They generally try to write code that is explicit. This should be in like an about section, honestly. We don't need to know this. That is explicit and relatively easy to read. Right now, we have to enter every letter when we code, so long names may feel inconvenient. However, it's good for learning and trains our fingers to type precisely. You didn't have to tell us that. I mean, we're forced to do it regardless. Then after we finish this course, we will see the computer assists us a lot when we code real games with a feature called auto completion. Yes, I can show you that right here with a little thing called Visual Studio. I mean, this is like, look, if you're an old salt, you know all this crap, okay? But we gotta assume that there's some freshers watching, some fresh meat watching. What do we got? Display board. Let's make display board right here. What is this? Display board right there. Got it. All right. So yeah, so we can, that's the auto assist. If you never seen it, there it is right there in a bunch of different colors. I forgot what it looked like already, because that's how important this stuff is to me. All right, let's go. All right. So, where are we? Who cares? When defining a function, parameters are optional or mandatory. Well, okay, let's. After we finish the course, we'll see it auto completion based on a few characters we type. Yeah. Okay. When defining a function, parameters are optional unless they're mandatory, but we don't need them sometimes. Submit it. All right. So we can define functions with or without parameters, depending on our needs. What's the correct syntax to define a function with multiple parameters? It's got to be in parentheses, that's for sure. There's got to be a colon. We got that. We got func. We got, oh, there's no commas in this one. It's got to be this one. Yeah, this one's no good. And submit it. Looks good. We always write the function parameters inside of the parentheses. To define multiple parameters, we separate them with a comma. All right, so now it's our turn to create a function with multiple parameters and a function to draw rectangles of any size. Huh? Oh, wait, what? Now it's our turn to create a function with multiple parameters, a function to draw rectangles of any size. There we go. Anyway, let's get to it. Practice. Drawing corners of different sizes. We're going to use function parameters. We'll code a function, using function parameters, we're going to code a function we can reuse to draw corners with lines of various sizes. Sometimes I got to tighten it up. Sometimes I got to rein it in, or I go a little too wild to where my eyes can't even read. All right. Sometimes you got to rein it in. Rein it in. Drawing corners of different sizes. So before we create a rectangle of any size, let's first see how we can use parameters to draw simpler shapes. Here we have an incomplete function that will draw corners with lines of any length, but it's missing its length parameter. Yes, definitely missing that. Let's actually take this while we're here. Let's copy that. All right. And then we'll put them in there later. Right, so the function will move the turtle forward an amount defined by the parameter length, turn 90 degrees, and then move forward length pixels. All right, so that's what's going on here. We're going to complete the draw corner function, so it uses the length parameter to draw corners. All right, so we're going to put length in this one, in this one, and in this one. All right, and it'll do that, and let's run it. There we go. Two different links. There we go. I like it. All right, let's go to the next one. So now we're going to be using multiple parameters. In this practice, we're going to improve our draw corner function so the angle can also vary. Okay. We'll add the angle parameter after the length parameter and draw the corner in the okay, let me do that again. We're going to add the angle parameter after the length parameter in the draw corner function and use it to draw corners of varying angles. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so we got length. We're going to need to add angle after that. Okay, so comma space angle. All right. And now we got angle right there. Boom. And now if we run it, there we go. Differing angle and a right angle, an obtuse angle. Yes, because this is acute if it went like that, right? It's an obtuse angle and a right angle. And I also went to geometry class. I proved it. Anyway, drawing squares of any size. Let's do this. Goals. Hold on a second. Look, this doesn't go down. Even if we, oh, no. So the box has to be the box for this thing that they shouldn't even have in the first place. Oh no, is it a timer thing? You know, whatever. It's a distance thing, but it's also seems like it's a timer thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. So remember that. What are we doing? Drawing squares of any size. There we go. We want a function to draw squares of any size. We could use these squares as outlines when selecting units in a tactical game, as a frame for items in an inventory, and more. We're going to create a function named drawSquare that takes one parameter, the length of the square's size. Now that I saw that, I'm wondering how this was made. And this, and this, and this. Anyway, sometimes you got to just say, let's get back to work. The turtle should face forward, should face toward the right when starting or completing a square. We're going to be sure to call turn right 90 enough times in our function to do so. Okay, so we're going to create this draw square. Let's start with that. Let's say func draw square. We'll have this and this. All right, and we're going to have one parameter length. Let's just take it since we have the cursor there. And now we're going to make the turtle should face toward the right when starting or completing a square. Okay, so we're going to do what we usually do, right? So if we come down here, we can see both of the methods we're going to be using. So we'll start off here with, since it's already facing this way, we'll start off with move forward, all right? And we're going to do that length like this. Then we'll go to the next line. We'll do turn right, all right? And we're going to have that be 90 inside of there. So we'll take this from all of 3 to the end of 1, copy it. We'll go down to the end of 3 like this, and we'll say paste, 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 4 sides. And that should take care of business because it's going to be facing toward the right at the end. Let's see if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes and does that. That jump got me. That jump got me. It really did. I was looking and I was like, yep, it worked. And then it jumped and I was just like, that's some flair right there. Sometimes I talk smack. I've been talking very little smack about this one because this person who wrote this did it with style. Okay, that's styling. That's very important. Very important. All right. Because I'm going to recommend this. I think this is better than Free Code Camp. But Free Code Camp is very important because it teaches multiple languages. And it shows us all the flaws of Free Code Camp to show us that nobody actually knows what they're doing. So Free Code Camp is important for reasons that they're not intending to be important for. Drawing rectangles of any size. Let's make our square drawing function more flexible to include rectangles of various sizes. All right. Our job is to code a function named draw rectangle, and it takes 2 parameters, the length and the height of the rectangle. The turtle should face toward the right when starting or completing the rectangle. So it's just like this, except for we're going to do it different. We're going to have 2. Oh, actually, it is this. We're going to have 2. We're going to have length and a height. All right. So note that we could still draw a square with draw a rectangle by having the length and height equal the same value. True. All right. So we'll start off with that. And since this is a word I hate spelling, I can spell it. Watch. I can do it. Watch. Length and a height. I hate that word. H8. Hate. But you can't say that. It's height. It would be hate, though, if it wasn't when sounding like neighbor or way, right? All right, so let's go here. Length. 1 here. Skip 1. Drop it. Height. Just kidding. Right there. And run it. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. A little bit of horizontal, a little bit of vertical. And continue. And there we go. And continue yet again. So now we're on to introduction to member variables. And we'll see you next time.